Secrets of the Silent Witch is a light novel about Monica, an extremely powerful mage that can cast spells that can destroy entire cities without saying a word. The only issue is that the reason she mastered the difficult art of silent casting is because she has crippling social anxiety and is too much of a nervous wreck to ever fully say a spell out loud. So it's a real issue then when she's given the mission to infiltrate and assimilate into a magic high school full of snotty rich kids in order to secretly protect the second prince. Let the shenanigans ensue. Silent Witch is 100% one of those series you read because the protagonist is just that good. Monica should by all means be a frustrating protagonist to follow. She can't speak to anyone ever, she freezes in fear when people put her on the spot, she spends most of her time worrying about everything she could possibly worry about, and she can't stand up for herself despite being incredibly powerful. All this would make her super obnoxious if she wasn't such a real one. Yeah, Monica is awesome because despite having all these socially crippling flaws that make her seem like a stereotypical shy anime girl, the root of them all, her emotional core is nuanced and fleshed out. We learn that her social anxiety comes from a traumatic event that involved a mob and caused her to lose her father, as well as the physical and emotional abuse she suffered from the person that was taking care of her afterwards. We learn that because of that abuse, she submerged herself in math equations during the majority of her formative years, and that the reason she freezes up or doesn't reply to people being mean to her is because she literally starts doing math equations in her head in order to ignore the harassers, a coping mechanism she learned from the years of child abuse she suffered. So yeah, the author takes this stereotypical anime girl template and makes it 1,000 times better by writing an emotionally compelling reason behind her actions and reactions, and this makes Monica way more likable. We understand why she is the way she is, so we're free to enjoy her cartoonish, squirrel-like behavior without feeling like it's all superficial. And it's not like her flaws are played up as charming quirks of hers either. They don't make her seem like this delicate, clumsy girl to protect. A lot of people are legitimately frustrated and annoyed at her inability to communicate, and surprisingly, we can kind of sympathize with them to some degree. She's just that bad at functioning in social settings. It's kind of ironic. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I get why you are the way you are, Monica, but also please change and grow as a person. But what's even more interesting than Monica's crippling anxiety is the effect she has on this magic academy setting. The school and the students within it are fairly stereotypical. Exactly what you would expect from something like maybe an otome game, or the otome game light novels that come from those otome games. The kind handsome prince and his friends, the mean girls that bully the protagonist and get their comeuppance, and a bunch of hidden conspiracies for the protagonist and her allies to discover. The only difference being that the protagonist is Monica, and this means she's not going to react like a stereotypical dating sim protagonist at all. When the prince flirts with her, she's scared shitless. When the mean girls harass her, it either doesn't register or she retreats into her world of numbers. And no conspiracy could ever work because she's one of the most powerful mages in the kingdom. Even the emotional developments tend to be way more poignant than they would be if this were a regular Magic Academy story. It's like Monica's very presence, her earnestness and honesty directly alter how the people around her develop and grow. Things still unfold in ways you would expect, but there's a lot more weight behind those developments. It's almost like these kind of generic characters have to show up and show out when it's time to step up to the plate and match the gravitational pull of Monica's personality. It's an interesting way to write this story because it's true that Monica is someone who doesn't belong to this setting. She's this powerful mage with social anxiety that has been dumped into a straightforward magical academy story, and it's immediately obvious she doesn't fit into it at all. But the fun comes from watching how her presence alters the course of this straightforward tale. How she wedges open a place for herself in the story whether she knows it or not. How this place where she doesn't belong is affected by her, as well as how the place and its people affect her. As for the world building, it's all fleshed out enough to feel unique. The magic especially is always described with a mix of complex terms interwoven with visual descriptions, meaning even if you have no idea how the magic is supposed to work, you can always imagine what weaving these complex spells looks like visually. Like, there's an instance in which a bunch of perfectly executed magic formulas take the shape of beautiful glowing butterflies. It's that type of magic. Overall, the series is just a blast to read, and honestly, I think it's something I think even people that aren't into light novels could get something out of. Usually, a lot of the series I talk about are great, but only if you know what you're getting yourself into, but Silent Witch is just good all around. There are no flaws you have to willingly ignore or tropes that might make some disinterested. It's just a really solid series of books. If I were to bring up one flaw, it's that the focus of the story is just Monica. So if you don't like Monica, you're not gonna like the series, but if you don't like Monica, I don't like you. Nah, I'm playing. I'm not playing. I recommend this if you want a solid Magic Academy story, a solid character growth story, a solid Otome game adjacent story, a story with a solid female lead, a solid story with political and magical conspiracies being dismantled, and a story with a more nuanced portrayal of anxiety and trauma. I do not recommend this if you don't like it when stories rely on a single character to work. Recommend it if you want to read about someone with worse social anxiety than you.